Hey, it's me, TahGee, and before the podcast starts, I just wanted to make a little bit of an intro here. This will probably be the only podcast episode that ends up being on my channel as well. I just wanted to upload it to my channel so you would actually get an introduction to the podcast. If you want to watch the podcast in its entirety across all episodes that we end up making, then please go to the Nerdy Neanderthals YouTube channel. The link will be in the description underneath my video. And if you're watching on the Nerdy Neanderthals podcast channel, hi! Thank you for coming to see us, and I hope you enjoy our podcast. Thanks so much, and stay nerdy. Welcome, chat. Welcome all to the Nerdy Neanderthals podcast. This is the podcast for me and Alex. Yap about different nerdy topics. Today, we're going to be talking about Invincible, Avatar the Last Airbender, Marvel, and at the very end, we're going to throw in a little debate question about some Overwatch. So, we're going to get into it, but first and foremost, let's do some intros. I'm TahGee or TahGee Streams. You might know me if you've been here for a little bit. I'm a variety streamer, variety content creator. I like doing a little bit of everything. And one thing I really love to do is talk and yap. And there's not many people on this planet that can keep me in conversation and almost out-yap me. But one of those people is Mr. Smoothie right here, Mr. Alex.
Of course. That's me.
He is my yapping partner. When I need someone to really yap with me, this is my go-to guy. So, and we're both ultra nerds, so this is perfect.
Ultra nerds. We're Nerdy Neanderthals. Uh-oh.
We're Nerdy Neanderthals. Bro, he said the name.
Yeah.
Bro, we're Nerdy
Neanderthals.
Title card.
Title card.
All right. Speaking of title card, first things first, the realist, we're talking about Invincible. Let's get into it.
Of course. Wait, hold on. I didn't even get to introduce myself. You know that?
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You just started stealing the show.
I'm sorry. My apologies. My apologies.
We can go ahead and cross that S out, I guess.
Crazy. My fault. That's on me.
You good? I'm Smoothie. AKA Aura is cool. I stream. I play video games occasionally, but the most important thing that I do is that I talk about video games and I talk about comics. That's the thing that I'm good at. That's the thing that I make money off of, let me tell you.
You make big bucks off this, bro?
Absolutely not, mate. Haven't made a cent.
Anyways. Speaking of title card, let's get into it. Let's talk about Invincible. I have an opener question.
Yes. Yeah, what's your question? Let's go ahead and start.
How did you feel about the newest season 4?
The newest season?
Spoiler warning, by the way, if you ever watched the newest season.
Yeah, this is spoiler-free warning. Freddie Mercury, he's crazy. He went nuts.
Dude, you're not ready for the Freddie episode, bro.
You're not ready for the Mercury, let me tell you.
You're not ready for Big Merc, bro. You're not.
I will say, the lack of, how do I put this? The lack of blood was kind of disappointing because when you do a side-by-side comparison, just for example, in the last episode, when you see, or was it the second to last, when you see Thragg, he's chasing Mark through space. You do a side-by-side with the comic panels. Mark is covered in blood. He's covered in bruises. He's beaten to fucking death. In the show, they're flying, like he's just flying away, and he ultimately looks pretty okay. Like for a guy who just got done getting his ass whooped and flying through an entire planet, he looks fine.
Okay.
And I don't know. I feel like in the comic they just do a lot better of showing how much of a threat Thragg really is. Like, I mean, look at Nolan.
That's your
take? At Nolan getting. Well, I'm losing the words, but when Nolan got stabbed through the stomach in the show, yeah, it was gory, but I don't know. Just in the comic, when you look at it side by side, it just didn't. It doesn't compare, but everything else, how they handled Thragg was 10 times better. Okay, it's just in that one moment for me, it didn't impact.
I was about to say, is your take that Thragg is underwhelming because of the lack of blood?
No. Thragg is him in every other
Okay.
regard.
Because I was gonna
It's
say,
just this
we're
one
talking
moment.
about the same Thragg that took a punch from Mark after killing Conquest and didn't seem phased at all. We're talking about that same dude.
No.
Underwhelming.
I'm not saying he's underwhelming at all in the slightest. The one part where he just reels back and he uses his super atoms to engulf his entire arm in the wind and the dust of the throne room before he
To do the
punches
super
Nolan
punch.
into
Yeah.
space. That was insane. That was amazing. A
Yeah.
great show of strength. That really impacts what Nolan said
I would
previously
say-
a few episodes before. No matter how strong you think you are, Thragg is
It's
stronger.
stronger. Yeah. I think if anything, that's not even his most powerful feat that we've seen.
Oh no.
I
No.
would say
haven't
his
even shown it
strongest
yet,
feats.
so.
I would say the strongest, but just the ones that we've seen so far. I
Oh
would
yeah.
say that his strongest feats that we've seen so far is just his reaction to damage. He's unfazed.
Yeah,
It
he
doesn't
quite
matter.
literally-
It doesn't matter who it's from, a punch, a kick, anything. It doesn't bother him.
It truly does not bother Thragg.
He doesn't
Nothing-
even blink.
literally and spoiler warning for the people who are trying to only watch the show. I'm sorry, but at the same time,
Comic
I will say
time.
this. I will say this. If you haven't read a comic that's been over for the past several years, you're lacking. And I get it. If you just don't like reading comics, I totally 100% get that. But don't come at me.
Real.
Comics been over and done with.
Real.
But Thragg truly does not get his shit rocked until the Battle Beast fight.
Yeah.
That lasts days, by the way, days.
Mhm.
It takes him and Battle Beast to finish their fight. And then at the very end of the story, when Mark is throwing him into the sun, let me tell you something right now. To kill Thragg, bro had to get help from Robot wearing the suit, and even after the suit was melted away, he was still like, fuck it, we gotta go more into the sun, and I just gotta keep beating the shit out of him. I just gotta keep ruthlessly punching him while everything on him is burning thanks to the sun. That was the only way that Mark could beat Thragg. Battle Beast was able to just straight up duke it out and almost killed bro.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Emperor Mark could not absolutely 100% duke it out with Thragg. No, 100%. But Mark at that point in the story, after going through all of that, still had needed the assist from the sun and Robot to kill Thragg. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like Thragg is a threat.
Yeah. I would say I understand your argument of the lack of blood being a little bit underwhelming.
It just was the impact of what had happened.
Hold on. I understand what you're saying, but I think my counter argument to all of that would be just like the entirety of episode 5.
Oh yeah, no. 100%.
Like, I feel like Robert Kirkman, when he was going through the scenes for episode 5, I feel like he was watching it and he was like, it'd be like a minute. It'd be like a minute straight of Conquest just ripping Mark's guts out, and you just a minute straight of Stephen Ewan just being like, and Robert Kirkman would sit there, watch the whole minute, and then just be like, "Is that it?"
No.
And I'm like, "Is that it?" We just watched him use his guts as infinite rag that the clowns use at the carnival. What are we talking about?
Mark just fully got a diagram of how big the large intestine.
Yeah.
Like he genuinely had that shit ripped out, and it's just like,
dude.
Hold on,
All
we
of
need to
episode
talk
5, bro. All of
Conquest.
episode 5, bro.
We just need to talk about Conquest. How Conquest has been handled in the show, my opinion is just 10 times better than the comic.
Absolutely.
It's just 10 times better.
I'm so glad that they just joked and teased about him still being alive.
Oh yeah.
and that they didn't actually make him come back to life, because Robert Kirkman did insinuate the idea of maybe changing Conquest's story a little bit, but then he ended up having him die anyways the same way.
Yeah.
But it was very fun to like tease the idea of maybe he's still standing, maybe
Oh yeah.
he's
I loved that
still
little.
alive.
I loved that little fake out post credit scene. That was such a good post credit scene.
I also love how when Mark got really pissed and wanted to like prove his point and prove like what he is capable of to the other Viltrumites, he just screams out that he killed Conquest.
Oh yeah.
He's just like, I killed Conquest. You think I'm scared of you?
Yeah, and it's like all the other Viltrumites, you know, they're like, "Oh shit, okay, maybe my guy's got something in him."
Yeah,
Thragg,
all the other
just
Viltrumites are like, wait, maybe he's not a complete waste of time.
Nissa was looking at him like, "Ooh, I can't wait to."
Anissa was looking at him like,
Oh yeah.
she literally made that face, by the way. That's literally what happened in the show.
No, literally.
They panned
I
over
also-
to Anissa and she just bogged the camera.
I would like to say this. I really hope Robert does this a little bit different. He does that. He does the Anissa Mark stuff just a tad bit different, you know.
Yeah. I think that would be a little too much
Because, like,
for
I will
animated
say
television.
it was a different time.
Yeah.
So, like, Robert Kirkman, for some reason, just had an infatuation with a lot of these things. I mean, let's take a look at The Walking Dead, The Boys. Let's take a look at his other projects. He's helped on or created. So his Invincible work was starting to just get a little bit crazy.
A little bit crazy.
So I understand it. I get why he did it, and it also gave Mark and Eve a whole different character arc.
Mm-hmm.
But hear me out. Let's just take Marky out. Let's just take this whole like little shebang out. Let's just let Anissa have her own kids on Earth and find herself on Earth like the other Viltrumites instead of having to literally essay our boy. Like,
Real.
can we?
That's real.
Can we just not do that, Robert?
Yeah.
Please. I'd just like to skip that part.
Real.
And if he does,
I
get why he does it, because as the comic reader, I get it from Mark and Eve's character development. I get it for Anissa's character development later in the Second Viltrumite War. I completely understand it, and it gives us Marky as a whole as a character as a whole, who's a very interesting character and take on. You know, hey, Invincible's already done everything. He doesn't need to stay on Earth. Oh, he has a son on Earth. He just leaves the son on Earth to become Invincible and then raises his actual daughter on Telescria and Viltrum. And then that creates an entirely new dynamic between Mark and his technical son, who admired him. And that admiration also turned into resentment. Marky said that in the panels where he was fighting Mark, like literally 500 years later and shit. He tells Mark that his love and that his admiration and how much he looked up to him just built into resentment, and he just began to hate Mark and hate being invincible. He hated him. Yeah. Because he left him. And that's what Mark did. And like, I'm not saying Mark Grayson is a great guy. He's not. He does his best.
That's the whole point.
Like this, he's not. How do I put this? He's a human ruling over the fucking galaxy, bro.
That's the whole point. He's an imperfect hero. That's the whole point.
That's yeah.
The whole point is that he's not a perfect hero. Like when people were calling him like Fraud Vincible because he was staying next to Eve while like the Invincible War was happening.
And that's not him being a fraud.
It's like that's the whole, because you have to understand at the time of the Invincible War, bro's like what, 20 max?
Yeah,
like 19, 20.
He's still a kid, bro.
Like fresh out of high school, bro. Fresh out of high school, dealing with crazy shit. Yeah, and literally. his girlfriend just almost died to one of his own evil variants.
Like, what are we talking about right
And
now?
you're expecting him to act rationally and do the right thing right now?
Like, no, he's gonna be selfish because
Yeah,
that's
like that's
also
the whole point. He's
human.
learning, he's
That's just
growing.
him. That's just him being a person. He's
Yeah.
like, okay. And then when you look at it later, and he goes off and does the Viltrumite War first part, does everything,
Hmm.
comes back, finds out that Eve was pregnant and she aborted the baby, and then right after that, some more bullshit like literally starts happening. Bro
Hmm.
doesn't. I can't remember exactly, but like he just doesn't want to go. He
Hmm.
doesn't want to go. People got upset about that. It's the same thing about the Viltrumite
Yeah, and
War.
it's
Him
like, bro, he's a
war.
person.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, he just found out his girlfriend, whom he loves very much, he got pregnant, and then he left her to go
Yeah,
fight a fucking war in space for months. For months, he
months.
didn't come back
They
for
all
months.
thought that he was dead.
They genuinely thought he was gone,
Yeah.
and he comes back. She's like, I could not do it alone. I had to abort because I didn't know what to do without you. That's
Yeah.
gonna crush him. And then now he's got
Absolutely.
to go fight another, or now he's got to go up there and fucking deal with Thragg's BS. And Thragg has to tell him, yo, by the way, every single Viltrumite is here on Earth and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Deuces.
If you
What are we
try to
talking
stop us, we're
about?
gonna kill everything.
Yeah. What are we talking about right now?
Like crazy,
I
bro.
feel like as any normal human that was raised on Earth and then finds out he's actually some godly alien, but he still wants to be a human and a good person for the sake of his people, and people want to get upset about that. What are we talking about right now? He's
Dude,
fucking human. You would do the exact same thing. You just would. You're
the
not.
fact the fact that
Yeah.
Invincible and Mark Grayson only can be who they end up becoming because of his last name, aka Debbie Grayson. Like I
Yep.
love that part of the story. I love the part of the story where it's like he's strong and he's fast and he's a warrior
Yeah.
because of his dad, but he chooses to do the right thing even when it's against himself, and he makes the hard decisions, and he never goes to the dark side because of his mom.
Yeah. Literally.
and
Literally.
and I love that dynamic of like the two sides of Mark Grayson, where like there's Invincible and then there's Mark Grayson. And
Yeah.
Mark Grayson is Debbie's son, and Invincible is Nolan's son.
Exactly.
I love that.
No. That. That actually segues into my question. What you
Oh,
would
tough.
this sentence. I'm gonna ask you a question. Taking Oliver completely out of the series, how good do you think Mark would have been? Because you have to understand this. The reason that Mark is the only good variant is because of Oliver. The fact that his dad left and went and had another son and had this whole arc on Thraxa and came back to find Mark teaches Mark, okay, well, now I have someone else I have to raise. I can't falter because they can't falter. Take that out of the equation, but let Omni-Man still leave. We're just taking Oliver out of the series. How good would our Mark still be?
I think that really depends on circumstance.
It does. But like what
Because
circumstance do you think it would depend on?
because you have to understand like where our Mark was at that time. Like he wasn't in such a bad place where you were questioning if he was riding on the side of good or evil,
Yeah.
but you could tell that he was obviously pissed
Yeah.
and that the people around him were only making it worse.
Oh yeah. 100%. No,
Like
110%.
Cecil was making it worse, the Guardians were making it worse, the responsibility of having to be a hero was making it worse, the responsibility of feeling obligated to take care of his grieving mother made it worse.
Yeah.
Like everything made it worse, but he still chose to put on the suit. He still chose to save people. He still chose to be invincible even through all that. And so
Did.
I think it's a stretch to say that he wouldn't still be good if Oliver didn't exist. I think it depends on what would have happened without the Thraxa arc.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that so let's say that Omni-Man leaves after his fight with Invincible. He goes to Thraxa. He has his Thraxa arc, but no Oliver. Invincible goes to
So he
Thraxa.
still goes to see his father.
Yes, but taking Oliver out, Omni-Man wouldn't have really learned much, right?
That's not necessarily true, though. Because Omni-Man doesn't credit him respecting the Thraxans because he had Oliver. He credits him respecting the Thraxans because of how they view their own lives.
Yeah.
They know that their lives are short. They know that their lives only last a year max. So they don't dwell on the past. They only focus on moving forward
Yeah.
and always being the best version they can be while they still got time.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that's
They
what makes
literally.
Omni-Man realize that he should
Yeah.
be a better person. That's what makes him realize that he should go on this arc of forgiveness and see his wife again.
Yeah.
And I don't think Oliver really had any influence on that. I think it was just the fact that the Thraxans were there for him when he needed something.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Oliver just gave him that extra edge to care a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think he already cared. I don't think Oliver necessarily is like a key point in him caring about the Thraxans.
Yeah.
So I think even if Oliver didn't exist, if he knew the Thraxans were in danger and he wanted an excuse to see his son, I still think he would have done the same thing and like lured Mark there and asked for his help to save the planet. Now the real question is, would Mark have been as willing to fight by his father's side and save the planet if Oliver didn't exist?
Mm.
Because even though Mark is a save people first, ask questions later kind of guy, he was at that point when they have their conversation on the stairwell. He's basically at the mentality at that point of like, fuck this planet, these aren't my people.
Yeah.
And so he kind of sees it as like this burden that his dad's giving to him.
Yeah.
And it's seeing Oliver that kind of makes him snap into fuck now, like this is my brother, like fuck.
Yeah.
Now I have an obligation because this is my people.
Yeah.
And
Literally.
so
Okay.
so I don't know necessarily if Mark would help, and if he did, I don't know if he'd be as willing. Like I could see a world where he kind of just flies away and lets Omni-Man die when the fight gets too serious
Yeah.
without Oliver. And then if that happened, God only knows where the story would go from there.
Oh yeah. No.
But
There's no.
I think if Nolan could convince him to actually take the fight serious and be by his side without Oliver, I think it could still work. Like
Okay.
I think Mark would still choose good and would still move forward good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But again, it's circumstance because like what if something else happens because Oliver doesn't exist anymore? It's the butterfly effect, right? So
Yeah.
so when
Taking.
he comes back, like a perfect example is Debbie. Debbie states in the show, especially in season 4, multiple times, how being Oliver's mom really helped her a
Yeah.
lot, and how she kind of feels like she needed Oliver.
Oh, I
So
didn't even think about like
if
Debbie.
what happens if Mark comes back to Thraxa and Debbie finds out that Omni-Man's still alive, but she doesn't have a son to take care of. She doesn't have an excuse to ignore it.
Yeah.
Then what happens to Debbie? And if something happens to Debbie, then what happens to Mark?
Mm, yeah.
Because like if Debbie goes down a really dark path and fucking Sudoku's herself, Mark's probably going to turn evil.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even think about the aspect of Debbie
Dude,
not having
Oliver's
all.
such a
Well,
major part of Debbie's life now.
no.
She's literally going to Telestria for Oliver.
Yeah. No, dude. Okay. If you think about taking Oliver out of the equation for this, man, hold on.
Debbie's storyline is completely different.
Debbie's storyline is actually completely changed.
Debbie's story takes a full 180 if you take Oliver out of the equation.
Would she even like be ready to like? Do you think she would even like have any relations with like Paul?
No. That's what I'm saying, is I think Debbie would spiral without Oliver. I think Oliver is the reason she didn't spiral.
Yeah, because Oliver gave her purpose.
Yeah.
Literally.
And also like, if Oliver isn't there to be a distraction, how much farther is Angstrom gonna go with just Debbie while Mark is trapped?
What? Oh.
Like, how much more damage is he gonna do to Debbie? That might fuck Mark up.
Oh yeah. No,
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it's all like one big circumstance. Like, if Oliver's not there, Mark being good or evil completely relies on what happens to the people around him because Oliver doesn't exist.
Oliver is literally a key point for.
And like, how does Mark become as a parent and a leader? Because Oliver helped morph him into a better parent and leader.
Yeah. No, dude.
So what is the end show gonna look like if Oliver doesn't exist?
Literally. Because Oliver's death plays a big part later in the story. It just does.
So I have a question for the show. I have 2 questions left, and I'd kind of like to attack both of them so we can move on to a different point, because we've already spent 30 minutes on Invincible.
We have ATLA next. That's what I have.
Yeah, that's what I have too. Do you think the animation quality of the show is really that big of a deal? Because in my personal opinion, I get what people are trying to say with their complaints. I completely understand, especially when you correlate it to other anime. I completely understand what your point is, 110%, and I agree that the animation should be better. But like, they're trying. They're clearly trying, and the animation is still good enough to get the point across, and the fight scenes still look cool. So like, what are you complaining? Like, if you're complaining about it, you're just thinking too deep into it. You're taking it way too serious, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I get where your complaints are coming from, but like, in my opinion, Invincible looks so much like other American cartoons. Like, it doesn't look different from other American action cartoons.
No, literally. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you
Invincible kind of looks like to me. Invincible looks like to me if the artists for Spectacular Spider-Man changed their art style up a little bit.
Yeah, literally.
That's what Invincible looks like to me, and I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
It begs the question. Okay, so my stone cold answer is no. It does not bother me at all. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all because of these couple of points. When people compare Invincible to anime, and then they compare the budgets, or they compare the studios that are making them, people are forgetting that the animation type, the animated show type, they can't just say that anime is the same as Invincible. You can't just say that, because it's an entirely different genre. It's an entirely different way of animating. Yes, I guess to the simplest of extent, they are looking at a drawing pad and they're drawing on the tablet. Yes, it's the exact same shit. But literally how they make the shows are completely different. And also, Mappa underpays their fucking artists and their animators. So you cannot compare how little it costs to make a JJK episode and how much it costs to make a show that is such an A-list show. The celebrities, the animation, like, although yes, can argue and say it's PNGs moving across a screen, but when people bring that up, like the Immortal scene where he's flying down in space, how else would you animate that differently, Tayge?
Yeah.
How would you animate someone wearing a skin-tight suit flying downward in space. And also, his fucking girlfriend died.
And it's also like the other thing too is like, bro, what exactly are you complaining about? Because it's like for every scene that's like that, where like there's shitty animation, there's a scene that matters a lot to the story that looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the conquest fight is amazing. Anything with Thragg on the screen is amazing. Honestly, all of the fights of season 4 were spectacularly animated. Like the animation was definitely upgraded in season 4. I noticed it and I really appreciated it.
No, 100%.
And I
Like-
hope they continue to improve. Like I hope season 5 is even better than season 4.
Like, and I get it. I get when people say the things where it's like, oh, season 1's animation was better. Yeah, okay. I can understand that. There was a lot of minor details that were very noticeable in season 1 that you didn't really see in certain scenes in the later seasons, but at the same time,
That's just not a fair
this is the
argument,
first
please.
time. It's not a fair argument because this is the first time that Invincible is getting an actual mainstream media product.
Mhm.
They're getting something because people are seeming to forget the last thing that we ever got for Invincible was their show that they did in like 2007, like 2005 to 7 or whenever they did it, and it was just a motion comic. That's all they did.
And the other thing too is like
They wanted to
season
get people on it.
Season 1 didn't really like, at least as far as my memory can tell, season 1 didn't have as much going on as the other seasons. In terms of like scene by scene. Especially because like the Guardians of the Globe weren't really utilized until the next season. So you didn't get like a bunch of characters all fighting on screen a lot in season 1.
No, literally.
And all the big fights of season 1 were like two people that have the same power type going against each other.
Yeah, and I will say season 1 to counter argument that season 1 did have a good it had a I will say what am I trying to say? Sorry, because I'm also at the same time trying to talk about this. I'm also doing research. so I'm not trying to sound like dumb as well while I'm talking about it. But the season 1 animation budget was the exact same as it is now. Because if you look at it, season 1's budget had an estimated total of about 22 million.
Wow.
The exact same budget was similar for seasons 2 and season 3 and season 4.
Mm-hmm.
It was either a little bit less or like close to the exact amount of the first season. And people are not thinking about that. Whenever someone brings up the statistic, oh, it costs about $2.5 to $2.7 million per episode. That's from season 1's head ass. Like season 1 had a budget of 22 million. That was the most it had. The most.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, next question.
We got 2 other universes to cross over to, and we're 35 minutes in. Okay,
Also,
last question for Invincible.
Burrito.
Nice. Last question for Invincible. This is my last question for Invincible. Which character from the show do you prefer over their comic counterpart? For me, this is like 3 different people, and they're all easy answers.
I think I love I really like a lot of them, but I think just for the sake of saying like my favorite, it's going to Debbie Grayson, bro.
Mm,
How they
mhm,
handle
mhm.
Debbie in the show is infinitely better than the fucking comic, bro. Infinitely better.
So that was on my top 3. So my top 3 was Debbie, Rex, and oh god, why did I draw a blank? Debbie, Rex. Oh, and then the third one is kind of a 2-for-1 because they're both kind of smaller characters, I would say. Wait,
Yeah.
that's not true. One of them's a major character. What am I talking about? My brain-headed ass. So I'll just do a top 4 instead because one of them is actually a major character. So
Yeah.
it's Debbie, Rex, and then I really like Shrinking Ray being.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I really like Shrinking Ray being Ray and being a girl and having a relationship with Rexplode, and that was awesome. And then honestly, probably my favorite change between the comic and the show is Adam Eve.
Oh yeah.
Adam Eve stands her ground a lot more, and in the show, she's not Mark's girlfriend, she's Adam Eve.
Oh yeah. No,
Like in the comics, she was a lot more Mark's girlfriend.
Yeah. She just was. She didn't really get a whole lot of lore to herself unless it was for Mark's character development. Like she did have a lot of really good moments on her own. Like
Yeah,
her backstory
but
talking
like,
about her relationship with Rex and everything like that in the
yeah,
comics.
like she had good
That was
moments, but they did it better in the show, obviously. And then second of all, she obviously gets way more screen time when it comes to action in the show than she did in the
Oh
comics.
yeah. They actually make her so important in the show.
And in the comics, the interaction between her and Conquest lasts like 2 panels. Conquest like one-shots her. She doesn't put up any kind of fight. In the show, she puts belt to ass on, bro.
She really starts trying her fucking hardest.
He froze in midair and he like had genuine fear in his eyes, and she was like, oh yeah, I froze the air molecules around you so you can't fly or move. Huh?
No, that's
what the fuck are you talking about? When can you do that? When have you been able to do that, Eve?
They make Adam Eve like Rex characters that like people can like look up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay,
Like,
I'm excited to switch over to Avatar. I hate to cut you off.
Okay, no, you're good.
I'm excited to switch over to Avatar because my first question is such a banger question.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think that Aang would have gone down a more evil path if he decided to kill Firelord Ozai?
Oh. Are we still counting like everyone having to tell him that he has to kill Ozai? So he's just like, okay, fuck it.
Everything else is the same. It's just this time he goes against everything he believes and decides to kill him.
So he doesn't even learn the technique given to him.
He just kills him.
Turtle? That's insane. Okay.
And like it could be a thing. It could be a thing where like maybe he did still interact with the turtle, but he still chose to kill Ozai anyways.
I want to say no. I don't think he would go down a dark path because I think he would hate that about himself. Because he was so against it. You know what I mean? He was so against it. But to entertain the question, I'm gonna say yes because I want to talk about all of the circumstances or maybe like his interpersonal relationships. Like you got to think about it. Even though Zuko was telling him, "Yeah, bro, you're gonna have to kill my dad." How do you think Zuko would have felt at the end of the day? Like, dang, my dad's dead. Now my mom and my dad's dead. That's awesome.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And I helped the guy that did it.
Yeah, like he's gonna feel some type of way about that.
Yeah.
I feel like if he just straight up was like, okay, fuck it, boom, marked him after Avatar State, and he just started wailing on Ozai, and he had his ass on the ropes, and he just fucking murdered him, dude. Like Katara, I feel like would see him as like a different person, and that would make him grow to hate himself. And like, yeah, to entertain it, he would, let's say he does go down a darker path because of that. I think I don't think he would lose his monk ways, his little airbending monk ways, but he would go about every decision with a much more hasty opinion. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like he would be presented with a solution, and past Aang or normal Aang would be like, okay, well, let's look at both sides here. Let's see what's going on. Ozai, he killed Ozai Aang, the bad Aang. He would probably just be like, okay, well, this other side is just not listening to me. Whatever. Boom. They're gone. Wiped off the face of the planet. Huh? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Aang just at a certain point would hate himself so much that he did kill Ozai that he would stop caring.
Yeah. That's kind of where this question came from. Because I thought about like what would happen, what could happen if Aang were to go through with killing Ozai. And the first thing I thought of is like self-pity to the extreme where he goes evil.
Oh yeah.
Like so upset that he did that he just kind of embraces that he did it. Because we've seen stories like that before where the good guy turns evil because he finally crosses a line and then that line ruins him. And that could be a cool story for an Avatar someday.
Oh yeah.
Crossing a line that they told themselves they wouldn't cross, and then like an anti-Avatar kind of starts to build.
Anti-Avatar, like literally what what's his nuts was trying to become.
Yeah.
From Korra, her uncle.
Yeah. So I have another question that has to do with Aang going crazy.
Okay.
If you think or do you think that if Aang was a little older before he got frozen, that the war would have been like kind of light work for him?
Like, okay, are we
Like
saying
if he got more training and preparation to be the Avatar before he got frozen, and he was a little bit older, like he wasn't 12, he was a little bit older, and then he got unfrozen, that do you think the war would be easier for him and it would be a little bit more of a cakewalk?
I think Aang would have an easier time learning the elements, and he would have an easier time understanding like the sociality changes. But I think he would still struggle because you got to understand, you're taking a boy from 100 years ago and you're putting him 100 years in the future. Things have changed. People have changed.
Right. And there wasn't
Like
a war when he got frozen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like his motives would be different. But yeah, yes, hello. Smoothie is me and Smoothie is I. I am Smoothie.
I am Smoothie.
What was I saying?
His motives would be different.
Yeah, I feel like his motives would be just a little bit different for like how he would go about stopping the war and stopping Ozai. But 100%, I think he would still struggle because it's still 100 years in the future.
Yeah.
He would just have an easier understanding of things.
Yeah.
And also imagine the Sandbenders taking Appa and like Aang's like a 14-year-old. Dude. He would go nuts. let me tell you. Aang would go insane.
My my last Avatar question.
Yeah.
If Toph was not blind, would she still be like that?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, because the reason she is so good is because of her ability to seismic sense. Okay. I don't think she would be like an average earthbender. No. But like her not blind, like she has no need of how do I put it? Because she's blind, she wants to go and like do things because her parents are like, no, you can't do these things because you're blind. She wants to prove herself, and she fucking learns earthbending from the earth moles. And it's like the mole rats.
Yeah.
And it's like,
which don't we later find out in the series that those are like literally the first earthbenders?
Yeah, until Korra kind of debunks it and retcons all like a lot of that stuff, but I don't count all that.
Fucking Korra, bro.
Yes, mole rats are the
Fucking
original
Korra.
earthbenders.
Why couldn't they just leave it at Aang, bro?
That's what I'm saying.
Fucking Korra.
I'm not like a Korra hater, but I'm definitely not a Korra like advocate. What's the word am I looking for? Activist.
Advocate.
I'm not advocate. Sorry.
No, I think my problem. I think my problem with Korra is like, honestly, my biggest problem with Korra is just the fandom. The fact that they, I'm sorry, it's in my eyes. There's no argument for Korra being better than Aang. Like,
no, there's no argument.
Like in my eyes, there's no, because people will be like, "Oh, you really think Aang can take on Korra's villains?" Yes. I do believe that. Yes, correct. And then people will be like, Korra's villains, Ozai is getting defeated by every single one of Korra's villains. They're sleeping him easy. You're talking about the same Firelord Ozai who, with just firebending, gave a Avatar in full Avatar state a run for their money.
100, literally.
Like, what? You're saying that Ozai isn't a strong villain in comparison to Korra's villains? What are we talking about? He had an Avatar in full Avatar state on their toes, fighting for their life.
Literally, when people say
Azula almost killed Aang, bro.
Literally. When people say that, like, the Ozai family, like, aren't strong, and like Zuko's
you're smoking something, bro.
One, like, you're just wrong.
You're smoking something, wrong. Bro.
Ozai is him. Okay, do not like just because he lost to the main fucking character, who's also the chosen one, does not make him a fraud.
Oh my god, and I hate when people are like, dude, Aang's enemies are so pathetic compared to Korra's enemies. Like, Korra has to go against a master in bloodbending. Brother, in Korra's show, we saw that Aang can handle bloodbending no problem.
He literally went to the Avatar state and took bro's bending away.
Not just that, he entered the Avatar state and his bloodbending didn't matter anymore.
Literally.
It just stopped working.
Literally.
Like, if you genuinely, if you sit there after watching Avatar the Last Airbender, and then you sit there after watching Legend of Korra, and you look at me dead in my eyes, and you tell me that Korra is stronger or better, I'm gonna think less of you. You don't have media literacy. Because Korra, in her show, Korra's like, what, 16, 17?
Yeah, I want to say she's like 17.
Like she's like almost an adult, and she's had training her whole life. Aang was a fucking airbender. He was raised by the air nomads to be a pacifist. He got frozen for 100 years, woke up, found out there was a worldwide war, and he was the only one that could stop it, and he had to master the art of bending in 1 year.
Yeah, literally. Hold on, no. I'm about to tell you this real quick. Now that you're bringing this up,
you do the math on that one, chat. How does that make sense?
Okay, so so at the start of the story, Aang was biologically 12 years old, but chronologically 112, but he was still 12 years old at the start, and the entire story of ATLA happens in 1 year, and he's 13 by the end of it. Korra was 17 in book 1, and by book 4, she was 21 years old. That bitch could drink alcohol while she was fucking fighting these people. What are we talking about?
And people want to say she's better than Aang. Are you crazy?
Like, she was a full-ass grown adult fighting.
He was 12 years old. He was 12 years old, raised as a pacifist air nomad. He knew no other bending. He didn't even know proper combat. And in 1 year, he was told that he had to master bending to stop a worldwide war before the Fire Nation took over the world and the Avatar just didn't fucking matter anymore. Are you serious? You're gonna look at me and tell me that Korra is better? Korra at fucking 17, 18, 19, whatever the fuck, was ending the Avatar cycle, was ripping all of the spirits away.
No, literally.
And you want to look at me dead in my shut up. Shut up. That's ignorant. That's ignorant. You're not thinking straight.
She was a grown-ass teenager and then a grown-ass adult fighting grown-ass adults. Aang was a fucking child
12.
fighting grown.
12 years old. 12 years old, raised as a pacifist monk. Do you understand me? That man didn't know combat a day in his life, and that he had to wake up and the next day fight an army. Do you understand me? Just showing what's happening. We're talking about Avatar.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane how people can't compare the villain. Because I'll give them. I
don't care about the Korra argument. I don't care.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Korra's villains were crazy on their own right.
They were.
But don't sit here and say that Korra's villains can completely take out Aang. Gang and him. Korra couldn't figure out the one fucking element that she needed to beat these motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Aang was a master at airbending at 12 years old.
And here's my other problem, right?
He created his own technique. What are we talking about?
My elbow really hurts. Here's my other problem, right? I have a problem with the fact that Korra goes up against an earthbending villain. I don't remember her name. And their first few fights, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about fucking Zura, whatever the fuck her name is.
Like their first one or two fights. Korra, I don't think lands a single fucking hit on her with all 4 elements.
Nope.
With all 4 elements. I don't think Korra lands a single hit on her. I don't think she lands a single anything on her. And I'm just like, how? Like, it's just, how? I will glaze Toph to the end of my days. But if Aang and Toph were put in an arena, Aang is walking out of that bitch 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I love Toph, but Aang, at the end of the day, Aang is the powerhouse of the group. I don't care what anybody says.
About Toph, by the way.
This question was about Toph, by the way. I don't know how we got here.
Anyways, Toph, I think, would not be as good as she would be without her being blind, because her being blind genuinely is the reason why she got seismic sense. Like,
it's the Daredevil effect.
That's why she figured out the technique.
It's the Daredevil effect. Daredevil wouldn't be as good of a fighter if he didn't have his senses.
Literally.
Like, he just wouldn't be as good of a hero if he didn't not have his eyes.
Oh my god.
Do you have any Avatar questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bet. Hit me with them.
Swallowing my food.
Hit me with your best shot.
Sorry, Chad. I'm actually like a 400-pound chud.
Why don't you hit me with your best shot?
Sorry about that. Okay.
Hit me
First
with
question.
your best shot.
The Red Lotus from Korra. Is it valid? Y or N?
Wait, what did you say?
The Red Lotus's true mission from Legend of Korra. Is it valid? Because their true mission was just trying to bring balance through chaos and uniting spirit and the human realms.
I don't remember a lot of Korra.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I
That's
just
okay.
remember the whole time watching Korra as it originally came out,
Get
thinking to
your daughter
myself,
to sleep on first try.
I
Hey,
just
you
remember watching Korra for the first time, like as it was coming out, thinking to myself, like, yeah, Aang is better. I miss Aang.
yeah. I mean, I get that. I watched Korra 'cause Korra at its core was a really good show. I liked it. I really liked Korra.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why, if you're gonna tell an Avatar story, why not just stick with Aang? You started Aang's story when he was 12. You have so much room to work with. You can continue his story.
Which is why I'm so glad that we're getting a fucking movie.
Yeah. Dude, I
I'm
saw someone complaining about the way Aang was built, and it's just like, bro, people grow up. Like, he's not gonna stay scrawny forever. He's 12 years old.
no, literally, like
Like,
guys are forgetting that
they grow up, they beef up.
Avatar. He has to keep up a little image, you know.
Yeah, like
I
he's gotta stay strong. He's gotta stay physically fit.
remember a single Avatar that wasn't at least somewhat buff. Even the women.
I was to say, even the women are in great shape.
I'm talking about. But the Red Lotus's true mission was bringing balance to chaos, which, for lack
I
of
fuck with it.
a better term, was the White Lotus just keeps balance. But the Red Lotus is like, yo, we're just gonna like abolish governments. We're gonna
Okay.
create a new world without rules, because that is humanity's true natural state.
Hell yeah. I fuck with it.
And they were the ones who wanted to unite the spirit and human realms, which is why Korra did it, because she wanted to do, because she understood the Red Lotus's mission and she
Right.
understood why it was valid, but the way that they were doing it was not valid, because this is what made them evil, because they wanted to end
Gotcha.
the Avatar cycle. They
Gotcha.
believed, they were the first group of people that believed, okay, the world has gotten to a point where we can figure things out without the fucking Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So their job was, hey, let's fucking kill Korra. Which is
Crazy.
why after Aang died, the Red Lotus was formed, and they were on the hunt for the new Avatar. And Korra was
Mm.
found at 4 years old. The White Lotus found
Mm.
her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So like they've been working tirelessly to try and kill Korra, and then they got captured by the White Lotus, put in prison. Each member was literally so dangerous that they were put in prison on opposite ends of each fucking world on the world of the opposite element that they had. So like the firebender that they had was put in the North Pole and caged in just nothing but ice and had water like constantly on, bro.
Crazy.
Because they were like, he cannot firebend because he is a threat.
Fair.
And Zahir,
When you had to put him down, you gotta put him down.
literally, and Zahir was a non-bender, by the way. He was a
Yeah.
non-bender, and he was so dangerous. They had that motherfucker locked up
Yeah.
in the craziest cage known
Locked
to man.
up, they won't let me out.
And
They won't
Zahir,
let me out. Locked
Korra
up.
did the thing, or I forget what exactly happened, but when the spirit realm like had a big shift, and it reawakened the Airbenders. Here you go. Sorry. And my loving girlfriend was asking me for something. Um, um, but uh, when the shift with the spirit realm had happened and reawakened all of the airbenders, Zahir was one of the motherfuckers who got airbending. After he got
Mm.
airbending, he was a threat. He was a genuine threat. Oh, McGonagall. Hey, what up, dude?
How do you feel about Zahir McGonagall?
Zahir
What are
is
your
McGonagall.
What are your thoughts? How do you feel about Zahir? Are you gonna say something? Hello, McGonagall? Kitty?
It's just, but it's because we're talking about our master right now.
You're not gonna talk about Zahir, your Lord and Savior?
You should dress McGonagall up as Tai Lung.
All right. Go Kitty. Love you.
Okay. On to my next question. That I feel like you could definitely talk about. How good do we think just like looking at this question with a fresh mind instead of looking at all the bad that Korra did and that Aang did and all the good that they did?
Okay.
How far and how good do you think the new Avatar is going to be without the past spirits? Like, take out your frustrations with Korra, because I get it. Yes, she severed them all. We gotta move on.
You know what
How
I
good
hope it is?
that the new Earthbending Avatar is gonna be
You
like?
know what I hope it is?
What?
I hope that it's similar to like Batman Year One or like Robert Pattinson's Batman, where
Mm,
we see like a more grounded, struggling Avatar because they don't have the guidance of their ancestors. They're kind of alone in this journey,
mm.
and I'd like to see like a more grounded like Avatar who's clearly struggling, who does lose and who does face defeat and face serious issues where we're not entirely sure if the protagonist is gonna make it in their own show or not. Because I mean that should be what it is. You're talking about a modern day world with the Avatar, a world that is adapted to living with the Avatar. An Avatar without guidance is going to struggle. Their villains are gonna be S tier level villains. They're gonna be people who know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh yeah, and
And they're gonna have
and
zero guide. Like I want to see an Avatar go through a beating but come out stronger because of it.
yeah. No, I really hope that we get at least somewhat of a time skip to where she's a little bit older because she's younger than Aang.
And like, it would be kind of cool if they did something where like it's possible for her to bring back the ancestors.
Yeah, because like the Avatar spirits
That would
aren't
be dope.
dead because they're literal spirits outside of them being the Avatar. Because when you're the Avatar, you have two. You have your Avatar spirit and you have your regular spirit that chills in the spirit realm. That
You
is
know,
actually you.
you know what could be really cool that they could do that would also be a really cool loophole to introduce new avatars into the lore?
What?
They could make it to where like every avatar has something that's like a staple that they did. Like Aang was the first avatar to steal someone's bending. And
Yeah,
like Kyoshi like literally moved islands. And like what's her name? Yang Chen or whatever. Is that her name? Yang Chen?
she's
She
the
she
Airbender.
she's the one that learned how to take breath out of people. Like it would be cool if we would see the earthbending avatar do these staple moves, and because of that they like unlock a spirit in their repertoire.
Oh yeah.
So like we see the earthbender like we see them do like some Kyoshi shit, like move like an entire island, like do some crazy next level earthbending, and now they're able to talk to Kyoshi. Like shit like that would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
Because then you could introduce new avatars that we've never known before.
Yeah, I guess I
And
didn't think about that. And they
you could
could
add
go
them into
far
the lore.
than Yang Chen.
Yeah, because we know of Yang Chen, uh
Roku,
Roku, Kyoshi,
Kyoshi,
and Aang and Korra, and then there's that one waterbending one
yeah.
in Avatar the Last Airbender. I forget his name.
He's like Ryuk or something. I don't know. No, wait,
Yeah.
that's the character.
Um
Oh, it's like
and
Karuk.
then I think there's more in Korra, isn't there?
I
Or
think
was Avatar the Last Airbender the only one that introduced other avatars?
yeah, I think it was like I think Korra introduced like a couple of new ones, but
Okay.
Other than
But
that, not
but it
really.
would be cool. It would be a good excuse to bring the ancestors back and kind of save what Korra did,
Yeah.
and simultaneously add more to the lore. Like maybe we could actually see Kyoshi and Roku in action. Like
Yeah,
maybe we could
more.
see them actually put like belt to ass on somebody.
I would love to see more. Like I want, how do I put it? Because it would happen to Aang a lot. When Aang would like enter his avatar state, like an avatar, past avatar would like take over his body and shit. Like that would be that would be really cool to bring that back as well.
Yeah, well, like when Kyoshi took over his body. Because
Uh,
what didn't she literally look like Kyoshi when she
no,
took
yeah, no.
over?
Every time, like he turned into Roku. He
Yeah,
turned into like twice or three
I was gonna
times.
say he literally turns into them.
Like I want to see like remnants of the
Oh
past.
yeah, dude, that would be so sick. Dude, you know what could be such a cool scene?
Yeah.
Like maybe the earthbending avatar, instead of like he slowly unlocks the avatars, it could be cool if he's in like a
It's a she.
oh sorry, my fault.
Yeah. No, you're good.
It, if instead of like slowly unlocking avatars, what if she like went through like a big fight and like got pushed to her limits, and like she's about to like fail, she's about to lose, and so
Yeah.
she just like pushes herself like past the limit, and she has like this moment where like she pushes, and then she pushes so hard that she like collapses, and
Mm,
she succeeds, but she like kind of fades away in the background. Like she you don't know if she's passed out, if she's dead, what's going on. And
yeah.
she kind of like fades into the spirit world, and she like maybe she talks to some of the avatars while she's in the spirit world, and then like maybe she enters the room where she actually talks to the avatar spirit and like brings all the avatars back together, and then you have like this scene where like maybe the final villain is like still there after the
Yeah.
rubble of everything, and they're like looking into the rubble, and you have a scene where like the new avatar like slowly stands up and gets out of the rubble, and you see like flashes of the other avatars on them. Like you see like
So
her
tough.
arm like turns into Kyoshi for a split second, and like her face like turns into like Aang's eyes and arrows for a second, and like you just get like flashes of the other avatars as she's like realigning herself with the
Oh yeah.
avatar spirits.
That'd be so tough, actually.
That could be
So
tough.
you missed. Don't worry. We still have
Don't worry, the
Marvel.
VOD will be posted on TahGee's YouTube video, on TahGee's YouTube channel.
I thought we are gonna make the separate.
A separate channel? I mean, we can.
That's what I was thinking.
I
We
was
were
just
gonna do.
gonna have it be a part of my content and just have it be like its own separate thing on my page.
Yeah. Let's move to Marvel. Sierra says hello, Tayge.
Hello, Sierra.
He says hello, Sierra. I was
It's
sleeping at
3:36 for me. Crazy.
like in the morning or PM.
In the morning. He's German.
Dang.
All right, we're moving on to Marvel. Here we go. I got a banger question for Marvel.
Okay. What's your questions? Yeah.
Which do you prefer? The X-Men, the Avengers, or the Fantastic Four?
Mm, oh.
The big three of Marvel, if you will.
Well. Okay. 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 I think this is a safe place to admit that I'm not the biggest X-Men fan. I'm just not.
I thought you were gonna say Avengers, which I was fine with.
I'm just not. I've never like educated myself too much on X-Men comics, and the only ones I know a lot about are Gambit, Wolverine, and
So you've never watched X-Men 97?
nope. I've never seen it. I've genuinely never. That's crazy. Who's ever heard of it?
So you've never heard like Magneto speak. They're probably not called X-Men for you, Adam, knowing your ass. Everything I tell you, you're like, oh, I don't know that. And then I'll explain it and you'll be like, oh yeah, it's called fucking Snickerdoodle in German. And I'm like, oh, okay.
We'll be talking about like a superhero, and he's like,
dude, the other day I was like, oh, it's Squirtle. And he was like, you mean Squiddy or whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm like, huh? Oh, Spiggy. I think it was Shiggy. Yeah. I was like, oh, I caught a Squirtle. And he was like, you mean a Shiggy? And I was like, the fuck did you just say?
Oh, Shiggy. I fuck with that.
No, so the X-Men are like Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Magneto. I'm explaining it to him yet.
Oh.
Professor X, like all of those guys, all the mutants. The mutants of Marvel, those are the X-Men. Anyways, you've never seen X-Men 97? Dude, Magneto. So if you didn't already love Magneto, you will love even more if you've watched X-Men 97.
I think Magneto's like really cool. He's a really cool character. Like, I fuck with the X-Men. I'm just not.
5 W's. Dude, no, Magneto has this speech. So like, Magneto is basically, he's like, I'm just gonna fucking take over and be the leader of the mutants, and I'm just gonna fucking kill the humans. Fuck these guys. If they don't want to listen, then I'm just gonna make them listen by doing whatever I need to do so we can be good. And Professor X is like, I completely understand where you're coming from, because low-key these humans are fucking racist to us, but we can be nice about it. We can be respectful about it. We can find peace. We can find a middle ground. And in X-Men 97, Charles, Professor X, dies. And in his dying will, he gives the leadership of the X-Men to Magneto.
Oh shit.
And Magneto basically says to all the X-Men, like, I know what you all think of me, but Charles expects me to carry on his vision, and I will not disrespect his life.
No, literally.
And so he decides to go on Charles' path. He decides to choose the path that Charles wanted him to choose, of trying to find a middle ground, trying to find peace. And there's a scene where like Storm gets attacked by like an assassin or something. And so Magneto like acts out, he like lashes out, and he takes like all these government agents up into the sky. And he basically tells them, he's like, there's a time where I would have crushed you beneath my feet for what you did to Storm.
Oh, yeah.
But
I've seen that clip.
Today, he's like, but today I'm a different man. And he basically tells them like, I made a promise to Charles to seek out his vision. And then he tells them like, don't make me break that promise or something like that. He says like, I'm trying to be better for you and your people. Don't make me let you down.
Yeah, don't make me let you down is that's such a cold line.
And like, I love that line so much, and they did in fact make him let them down. But I love that line so much, and it perfectly shows Magneto. Like, yes, he's a suffering, traumatic soul who's gone through a lot, who's stuck in his beliefs, but he loves Charles, and he has a respect for Charles, and he loves his fellow mutants, and he will always do what is right for his fellow people. I've always saw Magneto as more of an anti-villain than a villain.
Oh yeah.
I think he's just someone who's very drastic and extreme in their methods. I don't think he actually has any bad intentions.
No, Magneto as a character, I will say he's probably my favorite character out of all of X-Men lore, because
He's so good.
Magneto is just, oh man,
He's so
his
good.
his how do I even explain it? His contradictions to humanity make such good arcs.
I
Like
love the metaphor of like the X-Men with like
he's a Holocaust
racism and
survivor, is he not?
society. Yes, he is. I love the metaphor of like racism with the X-Men
Yes.
and like
I
the how it's like one big allegory for racism in American society and just in the world society. And but I especially love Magneto and how many metaphors and just different forms of messaging there is in just his character and how his character is made. Like
oh yeah.
he is like a walking, breathing metaphor and irony. Like he's a Holocaust survivor that basically wants to do what was done to him out of retaliation because he's upset and angry at the world.
Dude, I could probably, out of all the characters of X-Men, on top of, you just made me think about this, on top of Magneto, Cyclops' character development
Mm,
is immaculate.
I do love me some Cyclops.
I love Cyclops. I love him. He's so cool.
Oh, Scott.
Darkhawk.
Dark Cock? No, just kidding.
No, Darkhawk. I love Darkhawk.
I love Dark Cock. Oh, Jesus. I have another question if you would like.
Yeah, of course. I only have 2 questions, but I may only ask one so we can get to the debate question.
Bro's itching for the debate question. Do you think who are those characters? Never heard of one? Of which characters? Cyclops? You don't know Cyclops or Professor X or Magneto?
That's crazy.
Adam, you got to do your own research, man. I don't know.
You gotta read some X-Men comics.
Anyways,
I say that
here's my next question. Do you think that Marvel makes better content overall in comparison to DC? And I mean, I'm talking everything. I'm talking comics, video games, TV shows, movies, animated stuff. Do you think Marvel is the better overall in comparison, or do you think something different?
If we're saying like, yeah, if we're saying
this is your
like,
personal opinion, not numbers. I'm not talking like obviously DC's never had in-game level success movies.
Yeah.
But in your personal opinion, who makes the better overall content?
Because if we're saying like quality over quantity, Marvel definitely has a lot more quantity over DC.
I don't know if that's
Because
true.
Marvel dishes out like a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, but DC came out like 20 years before Marvel did.
Yeah, but I think Marvel was the first like
because DC's been out since like the 40s.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but you weren't getting like kids back then weren't getting like plushies.
Yeah, but my point is there was already like a good amount of comic issues before Marvel was even a thing.
Yeah.
Like there was already established characters and storylines before Marvel even existed.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Marvel fanboy. I'm gonna say Marvel just does. Marvel has better. They just dish out better stuff. Like yes, you even said it when it comes to like video games. With their characters, Marvel will flop, and then they'll make something really really good. DC will flop, and they will be too scared to try it again because they just don't know if it's gonna work. You know what I mean? That's why I'm really happy James Gunn is trying to do with DC, because he's trying to do stuff that he knows is a stretch. Like his Superman movie was perfect. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
Robert.
But you say it's bad, you're just a hater for no reason.
Yeah. Robert Kirkman made a point in an interview recently about the difference between Marvel versus DC, and it was probably the best explanation that I've ever heard between the two. DC is the most that they've ever thrived was like that golden era of comics, like that 1940s to 1960s stretch where like all the comics were very like you could get away with a lot, but it was also very like fun and funny, and you were trying to like have fun with it.
Yeah.
And like Superman is like your fucking Boy Scout of America farmer dude, and like Batman is your fucking basement dwelling martial artist that can solve every problem.
Yeah, with some goofy ass answer.
Yeah, and he has like a item for every situation.
Yeah, like I will say DC definitely, obviously they got better because
Yeah,
everything
well,
they did
hold
with
on. I'm not done with
characters
my
is
point.
better.
Hold on.
My bad, my
Uh,
bad.
but he was saying like DC like really thrived, and a lot of their stories still come from that original like first 20 years, and a lot of it is still kind of stuck in that era, and it's like invisible ships and magic lassos and rings that can project magic elements, and then Marvel is like more radiation based and technology based and more realistic and more modern and handles a lot more modern societal issues, while DC is kind of like your like go-to comic book where it's just like, oh yeah, goofy shit is happening, and like who knows what's happening, it's happening because it's a comic book, who cares.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel is like more modern and has a lot more societal real life things in it than DC does.
Wasn't DC the first comic though to like start incorporating LGBTQ plus people?
I think
Let me
I don't
look.
know. I actually don't know about that one. I'm not sure. I do know that Marvel hit it on the head pretty early because Captain America has a gay friend in during his World War era comics, which they actually built a statue of in the comics when he passed away. I forgot his name off the top of my head.
I'm trying to like see.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, Steve Rogers had a gay best friend
Yeah,
when he was still living in the 40s before he got frozen.
I'm trying to. Okay, so DC was not. So what was the first? Oh shit!
Maybe it
And
was
I just
Marvel. It might have
left.
been Marvel.
What was the first comic group to do LGBTQ? Huh. Nope. It was like their own thing in the 70s. The first comic group to feature, I feel like Jamie right now from the Joe Rogan Experience. The first comic groups to feature or be created specifically for LGBTQ plus representation appeared in the underground comic scene of the 1970s and early 1980s, rather than mainstream publisher teams, with women's comics and gay comics serving as early seminal venues.
Nice.
The first one was literally a comic strip made by Trina Robbins, and it was called Sandy Comes Out, and it was made in 1972.
W.
That's crazy. I did not know that. Okay.
Me neither.
Nope.
I would say Marvel probably makes the overall better content just because their content is a little bit more diverse than DC. They kind of look for quality in every category. Like Marvel has at least one in every category that's really good. Like one really good movie, one really good TV show, one really good game, one really good animated show, one really good animated movie.
Okay.
And DC, like I think I would say DC also kind of has that, but at the same time, like, does DC really have like a great DC movie? Like, not animated movie.
Yeah, because that's another thing I was gonna bring up. When it comes to animation, like when it comes to animated movies or like animated shows,
I
I'm gonna
think
say
DC has that any day of
it.
the week. Yeah, I
DC's
think
got
DC
it.
has that any day of the week. I
Marvel
think
has
Marvel.
really good shows,
I think
but their
Marvel
shows
has never come close to competing with DC's animation stuff.
like when you, how do I put it? It's how do I put it?
Because here's the difference, right?
Yeah.
I could quote so many different Marvel movies, and like I could tell you so many different things that happen in Marvel movies, and I can't do that in DC movies. I could quote so many different and tell you so many different moments from DC animated movies, and I think I could tell you about like one animated Marvel movie.
That's valid.
Like
That's
maybe
valid.
one.
I could tell you about a couple, but I think of DC more when I think of like animated movies and
Now,
animated.
pause on that. Any animated Spider-Man content does not count.
No, 100%.
When you have a show like Spectacular Spider-Man, you do not deserve to be on the rankings because that is not fair to the rest of the competition.
Spectacular Spider-Man, although had some flaws, it was a perfect superhero show.
DC has never come out with a show that theme song just like changed your life.
100%.
Like when Spectacular Spider-Man came on, I was ready to go. Just that fucking spectacular Spider-Man, spectacular Spider-Man. Bro, that shit was so gas. That shit was so gas. I was so ready to go. I was ready to fight Green Goblin. Where he at though?
That's what I'm talking about. I was ready to
where he at though?
We're up with the Sinister Six.
Like, bro, DC has never. The closest thing DC has had to that is Teen Titans.
Oh yeah.
When there's trouble, you know who to call. Teen Titans. From their tower, they can see it all. Teen Titans.
The Justice League show.
Which one?
Justice
League Unlimited or Young Justice?
I'm thinking Young Justice. My bad. I misspoke.
Young Justice is so heat. Oh my god, I love Young Justice.
It was peak. It was peak.
Teen Titans is peak.
It is peak.
Ooh, follow-up question. Real quick follow-up question. This is kind of a yes or no. I don't really need like extra details. I have to know your opinion on this. Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go?
Oh, fuck. Teen Titans.
Okay. You said, oh, fuck, and I got a little worried there for a second.
Gotta understand, bro.
I understand. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go is a perfectly fine show. My problem is, in my opinion,
when it comes to storytelling,
in my opinion, they should not have taken a show that was as grounded and as serious and as peak as Teen Titans and turned it into more of a kid's show. That's my only opinion. If Teen Titans Go was its own separate entity that wasn't basically the original Teen Titans show reanimated with different storylines, it wouldn't bother me as much. But because it's the same actors and it's like insinuated that it's the same universe, it bothers me.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Oh no, not the Teen Titans thing again. Have I already talked about this? Oh wait, I did. Yes. So, follow-up story. Logan is fully aware of how I feel about Teen Titans Go. Logan was watching my kid one day, and I came home from work, and I was the last one to come home from work, so my wife was already there. And I come home from work, and Teen Titans Go is on the TV, and I don't notice it at first. I'm too busy talking to them. And so I hold Taylor, and I'm bouncing Taylor, and I look at the TV, and I see Teen Titans Go. And I look at the TV closer, and I notice the animation. I notice the style. And I look at Logan, and I'm like, what the fuck do you have on my TV right now? And she was like, what? And I was like, Teen Titans Go? Seriously? And she goes, what? It's a good show. It's colorful. It's fun. And I was like, it's Teen Titans Go. If you're going to put Teen Titans on, put the good one on. I was like, what is wrong with you?
It teaches you how to make money. Have you ever seen that compilation?
There's really nothing wrong with Teen Titans Go. Like, I really don't mind Teen Titans Go. It just bothers me that it's Teen Titans. That's the only thing that bothers me. Yes, there is a live action. The live action is also one where I would defend, because objectively it's a terrible Teen Titans show. I would never defend that. It's an awful Teen Titans show. But if that show was its own separate entity, if that was just an independent superhero show that was its own original script and it wasn't based off Teen Titans, it wouldn't be as terrible as it is.
Oh, 100%.
It would be a lot more watchable. But it's the fact that it's Teen Titans and it's characters that we know and love, and they're just done completely wrong. It makes it a bad show.
I probably watched about a couple of episodes of it. I'm not gonna lie. I just couldn't sit through it. It just was not. It just wasn't good.
I watched a lot of it, and I regret it. It wasn't really worth the time and effort.
I just could not watch it, dude.
Okay, here's
at the same time, it had like Riverdale levels of cringe in it.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
It had
it just
moments.
wasn't.
It had CW moments for sure.
It was made like a CW show too much. It's like, dude, what are we doing, man?
Yeah, it had
Teen
CW moments
show?
for sure.
Are you serious? Like, I get it. It's supposed to be like they're not adults, so not dealing with adult level problems. But they kind of were throwing these literal teenagers into adult level situations.
I think it was just so random that didn't hit. That's fair. It was kind of all over the place, and no one really asked for it. They were just like randomly like, "Oh yeah, here's a live action Teen Titans show." Okay.
Yeah. Like, oh,
I
shit.
guess.
It's when CW was trying to make a bunch of shit because they were coming off of the high of the Arrow and the Flash.
The only good part of that show, and to this day I have no fucking clue how they talked him into that role, is Alan Richardson as Hawk and Dove.
No, you're so right.
That's the only good part of that show. Every time Alan Richardson is on screen, I immediately am back to focusing on the show.
100%.
I'm immediately like, oh, okay, let me pay attention. Because even when the writing is bad, he still does a good job.
Oh, 100%.
So like when he's on screen, I'm like, all right, bet. I'm locked in. I'm focused.
Okay, I'm locked in. I'm focused.
Because like I cared about Hawk and Dove's story. Who's
okay.
that? It's from the live action show. So Hawk and Dove originally were like brothers in the comics. That I think one of them got like some kind of superpowers, and the other one was just like a martial artist. But they both just decided to be heroes one day. But in the Titans show, Hawk and Dove are lovers, and one of them's a girl, one of them's a boy. I don't think, do either one of them have powers, or are they just normal people? Maybe Hawk had powers of some sort. Maybe he had like super strength or something. Oh, in the show, wasn't his brother originally Dove, and then his brother like died and was replaced by his lover?
Sorry. I'm back. I had to get up and go get something to drink, dude. I felt like I was about to have a coughing fit.
In the show, I'm pretty sure Hawk and Dove was originally Alan Ritchson's character and his brother, and then his brother like died and it was replaced by the girl.
I think you're right.
I think that's what happened. I have another
Yeah.
Marvel question.
Shoot.
I'm just lost at this point.
I have my Marvel Craft questions ready.
What
well.
is something that Marvel has not done yet in their cinematic media, so their TV shows, animated stuff, movies, that you think would be a big hit?
Well, wait a second. Repeat that. Hold on. I didn't quite understand that question.
What's something that Marvel has not done yet in their cinematic media, aka TV shows, movies, animated shows, that you think would be a big hit?
They haven't done yet. Okay. Word. Let me.
Like for me?
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's your answer to that?
Me personally, animated show about Ghost Rider.
Which one is the question?
I don't care, but preferably, I listen. Nicolas Cage has my heart, and I would love to see more of Johnny Blaze.
Oh yeah, I would love to see more
but
Johnny Blaze.
I would love an animated Ghost Rider, because I feel like Ghost Rider is one of those characters where it's just cooler if it's animated.
Yeah,
it's just cooler.
Doing a live action Ghost Rider was
cooler.
Cool, but there's just certain things that you're not going to really be able to touch on.
It's just like cooler if it's animated.
That's my biggest argument with live action versus animated. I just feel like certain things, like I think you 100% could make a cinematic universe with animated and live action things and say that they're in the same universe. Because I mean, hey,
yeah,
DC's
absolutely.
DC did it with Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is canon to the Suicide Squad universe.
You can so do it.
And it's like, it's because there is just certain things in media that you cannot represent with live action without spending an ungodly amount of money.
And also, like, there's some things where, like, it's just better animated anyways.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Like a character like Dr. Phosphorus and Dr. Manhattan are characters
that are
animated. They just should be
better animated.
There should be no live action, because no matter how you do it, they're going to look dumb.
Yeah, it's just better animated. Absolutely. What are your questions for me? Hit me with your best shot, daddy.
All right, so here's my first goofy question. Is it Peter's smarts or the fact that he's Spider-Man is how he gets all the girls that he's gotten?
See, so this is where the answer gets tricky, because in my opinion there's a correct answer, but then factually there is a correct answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's both in my head.
Because it's been proven in the comics canonically that one of Spider-Man's powers is that he attracts women with his pheromones, because he's part spider. So he literally has power riz. Like, that's part of his abilities, is just riz.
But he also low-key has riz.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. In my opinion, though, it's still the answer is both, because I think part of his riz is the fact that he's Spider-Man. I think him being able to do what he's capable of allows him to have more confidence than he would otherwise.
110%.
But I think that because of how smart he is, and because of how he was raised, and because of how he puts himself together, that's why women find him attractive consistently. That's not just like he's kind of cute. It's like oh, he's kind of cute, and then the next day it's like, oh yeah, he is cute, and then the next day it's like, I'm gonna just keep spending time with this guy.
Yeah. Like, but also, we can't forget about the fact that the one character I can't remember her name, but there was a character in Spider-Man, in the comics and in a couple of shows. It's been mentioned, or I know for a fact it was mentioned in the comics. It's Luke Cage's girlfriend, and she is like told by Peter, because when he unmasked himself to the Defenders, Luke Cage and Iron Fist already knew who he was. Daredevil knew who he was, but she didn't. She was like, "Oh shit, you're Peter Parker. We literally had the same chemistry class together, dude. I
Oh,
had like
crazy.
the fattest crush on
Oh,
you."
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. She was like, "Dude, I had the
Took
fattest
me a
crush on
second,
you,"
but I'm with
and
you.
and it was before he became Spider-Man.
Yeah, and Luke gets like very jealous.
Yeah, he gets like super jealous about it. But Peter and her are both like, Peter's like, "Dude, I'm married, bro.
Yeah, Peter's like,
I'm married."
you're good, bro.
Like, I just find it like, because Peter like got a little bit like weirded, like he didn't get weirded out by it, but he thought that she had still liked him when she had said that. So he asked her, and she was like, "No, it's nothing like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
just like we're really good friends. I just think
yeah.
it's crazy that you're Spider-Man," because she just genuinely didn't know that he was Spider-Man.
No, I mean, I think, like I said, my answer would be both. I think he is Spider Riz, but I also think he is Peter Riz.
Yeah, no, Peter Riz is 100% there.
Yeah.
There is Peter Riz.
I mean, have you seen MJ and Black Cat?
Oh, literally. They quite literally fight over bro.
Those like in most people's Marvel baddies list, those are both top 10.
Mm.
And those are Peter's two mains. In other people's Marvel top 10 is Silk, and that's someone who literally can't deny Peter.
Yeah, literally,
Literally.
they literally give off a pheromone that makes them just want to
They got bit by the same spider, so they are genetically attracted to each other. Do you understand that? Do you understand that they are genetically attracted to each other? It's not like a, oh yeah, I have a crush on her, or like we fuck on the side and now I have feelings. They are genetically
like
attracted to each other.
wired to just fuck when they see
They
each other.
see each other and immediately it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's
They're
crazy.
fucking animals. They're fucking animals. But I am the Spider-Man fan that stands 10 toes on this. Peter Parker's true love will
Gwen
and
Stacy.
always be Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
It just is.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah, it's just a fact.
Stan Lee said that himself.
Yeah.
Gwen is Peter's true love. That's why she's supposed to die, because Peter's never supposed to truly be happy.
Yeah. It sucks. 100% fact.
That's why Gwen dies in pretty much every universe, because she is Peter's true love, and that's why she passes, because he can't have his true
Gwen
love.
doesn't die, Peter dies.
Yeah. There's never a universe where they actually get to be together.
It genuinely sucks.
Even though it's been confirmed by the creator of the comics that they are meant to be.
Yeah. And everyone likes to say that Gwen's true love is Miles, when that's not true at all. That's Spider-Gwen's
I was
true
gonna say
love.
that's a Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
not a Gwen Stacy thing.
a lot of people want to, because yes, Miles and Spider-Gwen did get married in the comics. They did. But at the same time, Miles, who said, you'd be surprised, a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that and think that, and it's stupid. It's absolutely
It's because of
stupid.
Spider-Verse.
It's because of Spider-Verse. And during Spider-Verse, as the movie came out in 2018, there was a little comic run where an older version of Miles and an older version of Spider-Gwen got married. That is stupid, because even in Spider-Gwen's universe, her true love was Peter, whom became the Lizard and then died.
Yeah.
That is stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like, I'm all for them being happy, but like, guys, don't say that that's just a factual thing. That Gwen in every universe's true love is Miles, when that's just not true. In every other universe, Peter and Gwen are together. One of them is dead. That's just how it is.
What's your second question?
My second question is, if the MCU came out today, how would it change? How would it be different?
Mm.
And I'm gonna simplify the question, and don't count the shows and all the animated shows. Like, don't count Disney Plus. Just count MCU, main cinematic Marvel movie.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing.
Because that's what I was thinking.
I don't know. I don't know if they start with the Avengers.
No, they wouldn't even start with Iron Man, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think they start with the Avengers if it came out today. I think they start with like the Fantastic Four, X-Men.
Oh, 100%.
Because I think if the MCU is to start today, they're learning from DC's mistakes without their successes, so that you just have DC's mistakes.
Yeah.
And DC's biggest mistake was their A-Team's movie. Justice League was the biggest flop out of all of DC's projects. Justice League Zack Snyder edition was much better, but the original movie that came out was one of the biggest flops DC has ever done, if not the biggest. And so I think Marvel would be a little hesitant to do an Avengers movie or anything with the Avengers after DC's flops. So I think they would lean more into something that they already know is respected a lot and is loved by the Marvel community a lot. And I think the safest bet would be to start with Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they would start with the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, I feel like 110%.
Yeah. And I think they go for more of a Fantastic Four Spider-Man storyline, delve into like maybe like the Apocalypse era with like Johnny getting trapped and Spider-Man taking over his spot.
Yeah, with the Future Foundations.
Or they do like one of the Doom storylines where they have to eventually call the Avengers and the X-Men, and then you can get movies for the Avengers and the X-Men and introduce them. And
yeah, because I feel like that they would 100% do like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Defenders. Like, they would do street level things.
Yeah.
Not jump so quickly, especially how the MCU did it. Although they did it at such a good time when Iron Man and certain characters like that just weren't as popular.
Yeah.
They did it at such a good time, but like, I just don't think they would jump so quickly to space level things as quickly as they did in the beginning, because it was literally Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain America First Avenger, or Thor, Captain America First Avenger, Thor the Dark World, I think. Iron Man, nope. Then it was the Avengers. It was Iron Man 3 after that.
Yeah, I just don't think that they even worry about the Avengers off the bat.
Yeah, they would start with something else slowly. Okay. Because I think they would do an X-Men movie before.
Okay, it's 9:15.
Okay.
So we're going to the debate topic.
Hit the crazy transition. Wow.
The debate topic of today's episode. If Overwatch had never existed up until today, and it was to launch today, as it is at its current update, would it still succeed?
Yeah.
That is the debate topic.
Yeah, that's the debate question. Who's going first?
I am on the side of I don't think that it would. or at the very least, I don't think it would be nearly as big of a hit as it was.
And I'm on the side. I think it would be. I think it would be a massive entity.
Now, I've had some time to think about this. And I have what I think is a few good arguments that might sway your opinion. But I want to hear where your head is at.
Okay, where my head is at. Because I'm not gonna lie, I had time to make up some points. Didn't utilize that time well because it was super busy. But the mainstream success behind games like Team Fortress 2, Paladins, Apex Legends, Valorant. Well, maybe not Team Fortress 2. Don't include that with those games. But the mainstream success behind Apex, Valorant, Paladins, those games just wouldn't have had the room to grow. Wouldn't have the room to grow if Overwatch did not come out, because Overwatch, at the end of the day, when it came out in 2016, the only current hero shooter that we had that was just as mainstream as it was Team Fortress 2. And I guess you can say CSGO, but would you really say CSGO is a hero shooter?
No.
It's a game like Valorant. Valorant is more hero shooter because it has actual characters that have their own abilities. That's what classifies a hero shooter. So TF2 was really the only mainstream hero shooter that people had. In 2016, it wasn't as big as it was back in the day.
Right.
You can say it was, but the only reason you think that is because you were probably just playing the game at the time. And that's just not, in my opinion, a good enough statistic. But when you look at Overwatch when it came out in 2016, it immediately became a powerhouse because it wasn't just like bullshit lore, bullshit characters that only had a couple of videos out or a couple of things out. It came out with established lore and established campaign that was going to come out, that did come out, and it had established characters that were easy to like and an art style that was great. And in 2016, that completely revolutionized and boosted the hero shooter genre as a whole. And teams like MOBA and Blizzard and all of them, they were able to create other games like Overwatch, although not as popular, but were able to teach Overwatch and teach other games that did become popular what to change and how to grow. Like Marvel Rivals, for example. Without the competition of Overwatch, Marvel Rivals would have come out and it would have done amazing. It would have done great, but just simply without the competition of Overwatch, people would get tired of its repetitiveness. Because it is not a, how do I put this? It's not, NetEase doesn't give us new lore. It doesn't give us new characters. You know what I mean? They just don't. They don't give us new characters except for Luna Snow. That was
as in like original characters?
I'm saying original characters for Marvel Rivals.
Okay, I don't think I don't think original characters is a good argument for a game that's based off of a third-party source material.
But the characters are going to get tiresome at some point because what you're eventually going to want to, how do I put this? You're not, people who play TF2 wanted something different.
Right, but that's like saying a game like Injustice or Injustice 2 can't compare to a game like Mortal Kombat because Injustice doesn't have any original characters.
Okay. Well,
it's like, yes, it can. It absolutely can compare.
I understand that.
Just because it's
But
based off of source material doesn't take away from the fact that it can still compare.
but it's although yes, but
And we get
that
a
is
new character every
genre.
week, and it has its own independent lore in the shape of comic books, which goes even more with the source material.
Okay.
I
Well,
think I think you're being a little too tunnel visioned in your point of view with Overwatch. I think you're not expanding to the big picture.
I'm stuck on the characters. I'll give you
And
that,
like
but
and
I'm
like
gonna
here's my thing, right? Here's my problem with Overwatch coming out today. Here's my biggest issue, and here's the biggest reason that I think that it would fail in comparison to games like Marvel Rivals if Marvel Rivals was to still come out without Overwatch existing. You have to think, when it comes to the success of games initially when they release, you need the joy and the approval and the reviews of the casual player. And if Overwatch was to come out today, I think the casual player would be very, very upset and annoyed and not enjoy the game. Especially talking from someone who plays most games as a casual player. If it wasn't for the fact that I already have prior experience with Overwatch, Overwatch would be a headache as a new player if I was to go into it right now as is. I would be very confused. I would be very lost. I would get very frustrated because I'm losing all the time. And I would just have no interest in playing it because it's made for a competitive hero shooter scene. It's not made for the casual player. And
yeah.
so if it dropped the way it is right now, I think you're going to get a lot of complaints from the casual side of things, which I think will do long-term damage to its success. Because a lot of the reason Overwatch had its success when it came out as a hero shooter is because while the competitive scene was rising, people loved casual play. You had casual players playing the game all the time. Overwatch at its peak had way more casual players than it had competitive players. There was so many custom lobbies of people playing like tag and hide and seek and random character duels, and then you would go into a quick match game and both teams would mutually agree to just like have like an emote off. And when there was actual fights, it was a bunch of people just spamming their abilities because nobody knew how a hero shooter worked, and the balancing still wasn't there, so some heroes were better than others. But as the game has gone and as it's gotten more balanced and as they've listened to more of the streaming side and the competitive side of the game, the joy for the casual player has diminished over time and has gotten worse and worse over time. That's why you'll hear a lot of Overwatch pros say to a lot of people that are getting into the hero shooter genre, if you want to understand hero shooters but still have a good time, play Rivals.
That
Because
I just don't.
Overwatch is just
I'm
more of a competitive game. It just is. It's more for the competitive scene.
Yes, but that happened because of how long Overwatch has been out for.
But that
If
doesn't matter.
Overwatch
That's not what the
never
question
came out,
is.
there would be no competitive hero shooter scene
But
apart from the
but
PC
that's not what
scene.
the question is. It would still come out with all of its competitive updates right now today, with all of its competitive balancing patches and everything. It would already have all that,
Yes, it
irregardless
would,
of the time.
but there would be no pros at the start. There just wouldn't be.
But that is
How can
exactly my whole point as to why it would fail,
say
Alex.
that there is no casual gaming in a game that would come out and everyone literally to the genre is a casual gamer, except for the
Because
PC players from TF2, and even then, they still would not be good at Overwatch.
because it already has competitive balancing. So there's certain things like it's hard to explain. It's like positioning, for example. Positioning for a casual player in a hero shooter is something that is just not learned. That's why Marvel
But they,
Rivals is a lot easier for hero shooter players, because the healers can heal you at 2 million heals per second, so it doesn't matter. In a game like Overwatch, you don't get that same benefit. The healing is a little bit slower. It takes some time, so you actually have to be smart with what you're doing.
So I don't understand your argument here. You're saying since Overwatch is just objectively a harder game, it wouldn't do as well if it came out today. That just doesn't make sense to me. Because even to me, as somebody who played Overwatch in 2016, and then after probably a year or two of playing it, stopped playing it, never touched it until Overwatch 2 came out, and even then barely touched it. Came back into it as a casual gamer. It probably took me, I want to say, at least 200 hours just to get to the point that I was at, and that's 200 hours of casual gaming. Like, yeah, I had to take some games seriously, but that's just because I learned how, because I adapted to the game as any gamer would. I hate to say it like that, like a corny motherfucker, but like,
okay, but like you also,
if you're spending hours on a game, you're gonna get good at it, no matter how hard.
Yeah, but like
it is.
you also, again, you have to look at the release from like the point of view of a new player. Like, imagine if you were getting into a hero shooter and you load up the game and there's 40 heroes in each category to choose from, and they all work differently and they're all balanced differently.
But that was with the reason that Marvel Rivals was able to grow so quickly was because there were games like Overwatch and Paladins, Apex Legends, things like that did the hero shooter genre differently, and Apex Legends doing the battle royale genre differently. Like,
yeah,
but people had an easier time understanding Rivals because it is objectively the easier game, but also people went into it already understanding how to play hero shooters. If Rivals is essentially would be the first game to revolutionize hero shooters, which I'm not saying it wouldn't, it would do numbers for the hero shooter genre. People would go into Overwatch. It would be an entirely reverse situation. People would go into Overwatch being like, okay, well, I played the fuck out of Rivals. I get Rivals. I'm going to have an easier time understanding Overwatch. I feel like Overwatch would flop if there was just no other games like Overwatch. And then Overwatch comes out today, people would not know what the fuck to do, and it would flop. But
see, that's
if a
where
game like Rivals already exists,
and that is where I completely disagree. I think that the only reason Overwatch doesn't flop is because it came out at a time where there was no games like it.
Okay.
My whole point is that if Overwatch doesn't exist until today, there is a damn good chance, because of games like TF2 existing, that someone makes a hero shooter before Overwatch comes out today. And because someone already had a successful hero shooter, by the time Overwatch comes out, it'll be like the Battle Royale effect, where people will be like, I already had this. Why would I want it again?
Well, okay, but that's adding in a hypothetical game. That's adding in a hypothetical.
This whole argument is hypothetical.
I mean, yeah, I understand that, but now you're adding entirely new elements.
So
it's like, okay,
but
well,
Alex, us using Marvel Rivals as an example in of itself is a hypothetical. Because you are insinuating that Marvel Rivals still exists without Overwatch.
Are you saying that it couldn't?
I think if Marvel wanted to make a successful game with their source material, and Overwatch wasn't already a big hit, and a game like Overwatch hasn't already proven to succeed, then yeah, they probably would have went a different way.
Okay. I mean that. Okay,
but like that's what I'm saying. Like you're saying like it's a hypothetical. So is 90% of the points that we have made throughout this entire discussion.
Fair point. Well, I just couldn't believe that you threw in a hypothetical non-existent game. I was just like, whoa.
It's just like but you have to think about it. Like there's a 10-year difference we're talking about. In 10 years, no one makes a game like Overwatch, even remotely close. Between 2016 and 2026, before Overwatch drops, you're telling me no one plays TF2 and is like I could make this better.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's basically what happened with Overwatch. It's destined to happen again.
Yeah. Okay. Word.
I think at least for me, because Overwatch came out when it did, because it came out when hero shooters were a fun idea but had never really been capitalized on in a big hit way. That's why it was so successful, is because it was like the first of its kind.
Okay.
But if it came out today, it's probably not going to be the first of its kind, since all of the games that inspired Overwatch still exist before Overwatch. So it probably wouldn't be nearly as big. It would get the effect of being too similar to something else.
Word.
And it doesn't have the powerhouse that is Marvel being like, well, yeah, this is a game like Overwatch, but it's Marvel characters.
Okay.
I like BBL's. Thanks, Selfer. That really helps. That really helps with the.
But I think, as we're supposed to, we leave the answer up to chat and the fans.
We leave the answer up to you guys. I hope.
Because we just debate.
I miss you too, Zell. I think about you every night before I go to sleep.
You guys come up with what the answer is, because I don't feel like doing all that.
That's real as fuck. Who won? Who's next to you decide? You know what I'm saying?
You decide. Fun fact, chat. You guys decide next debate that we're gonna do for next stream. We do this every Monday.
No, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is supposed to happen every Monday. It just didn't happen this week, because Alex and his time management skills. But this will be a show that happens every Monday between me and Alex. We'll just sit here and nerd out until we decide not to anymore. And then I will take the whole VOD, trim the beginning and end so there's not blank spots in between, and post it on YouTube. So there should be a 2-hour podcast episode on YouTube within the next few days.
Yep. Subscribe to the Nerdy Neanderthals at youtube.com.
Real as fuck. But yeah, thank you guys for watching our podcast for the first time. If you did, we appreciate it. Thank you for being nerdy with us, and we hope to see you next time. Peace out, guys.